Okay, guys, so I have quite a few video requests that I'm trying to catch up on, and so like I said, drop your video requests. Now, if y'all search my channel to see if it's there or not. But if it's not, drop your video request, and I'm going to get to it. This one I thought was pretty interesting because this was about Lilith and a partner's south node synastry. So there's different aspects to this, guys, because there could be Lilith Conjunct the south node, or withholding the same sign. There could be Lilith opposite south node. There could be Lilith sextile south node. For me today, I'm gonna go with Lilith conjuncting a person's south node in synastry, right? And then we can just keep going. We can keep going. So starting with this Lilith conjuncting a partner south node. Let's go here so that we can get a whole overall clear picture of what's going on here. When you look at the south node in anybody's chart, that means yes, in your chart, this is where a person stays comfortable. This is where we stay comfortable. We're familiar with that type of energy. Okay, let's say a person's south node is in Capricorn. A person with south node in Capricorn, they are comfortable with work, responsibilities, their public, where the way that they're seeing public, they could be like really appear restrictive, like, or like real put together and refined and, elite in a certain way, like where it could seem like they're stern and rigid and like, okay, so music is playing, but you know what, I'm kind of like, I'm classy, I'm cool, I'm collected, so I might bob my head, or I might be like someone that doesn't really let go all the way. And that means that their north node would be in Cancer, the complete opposite. Like where you have to be emotionally available. You seek out things that you could, people, relationships, experiences that you can emotionally connect to, or that you have some sort of emotional intimacy with. You want to go deeper. It's about putting your feelings first and the well-being of that first. And, there might be people that show up in your life that wants more openness, wants intimacy, wants connection. And, you have to let go a little bit. You got to be willing to say, you know what? I'm not about to put work first over my feelings today, over me feeling drained, over me. You might even be like, you know what? I'm not about to sit here and, work through this and work through that without saying anything. But yet I feel mistreated. You'll be more emotionally expressive, right? Okay. So that was just an example that I wanted to use to explain the north node, which is, if your south node is one sign, you're supposed to be going towards the energy of your north node. Okay. You're supposed to be accepting that in, and it could be hard to do. So let's take Lilith and let's throw Lilith in here, because Lilith is like that, expressive energy. Like whether you express it or not, or you suppress it, Lilith is going to show up. But Lilith, so this is why Lilith is considered rebellious. It's like that, let's say you have, you're a person with Lilith in Capricorn. You are going to possibly rebel against being restricted, or like holding it all together, or just work. Now, you might do these things, but it could find a way to tick people off or go against the norm, because what you want to work at is something that's significantly different than maybe what the people that you're affiliating with, or like the group, or like the public is, will accept or whatever. Or you may hold it in, but as you hold it in, you're going to be unhappy, So you got to look at Lilith. Lilith is like expressive. Lilith is sexual. Lilith is in tuned. Lilith is constantly always trying to be in alignment and in tuned with the freedom and the revolutionary aspect of itself, that wants to receive and wants to release itself to from being restricted from which you're not supposed to do as a feminine. This is for male and female. I want you to understand. And or Lilith is always combating or saying, okay, you know what? I have these inklings and these feelings to, be less restrictive in these areas, but I have to be restrictive. And Lilith pretty much suffers or goes through a very challenging life, knowing that it's sitting there keeping quiet and sitting still and trying to behave itself in ways that it really wants to be free. So here we go. This brings us to Lilith Conjunct the South Node in Synastry. Because here, wherever a person is comfortable at, wherever the person or the individual was comfortable at, let's take the South Node, you're meeting Lilith, okay? Where Lilith is breaking free or being accepting of of that energy, like of the energy, whatever sign is sitting in. Lilith is like being accepting of it. Lilith's being free. Now, here we go. Because I'm telling you, this, it doesn't have to play out whether it's good or bad. What it does is it puts these two people or two individuals in a relationship to where it could, how should I say? It's full of like sexual tension and expression. And it doesn't just have to be that, but it's that's one of the biggest things that's attracting it there. The need or want to create, the need or want to own or possess some sort of power, because it could be Lilith here trying to contain its power or just being powerful on its own for what it is able to express. So it's a powerful synastry and it's a powerful connection. But in what Lilith is doing, Lilith here could be very good at bringing the South Node person. Now, I'm guys, y'all see how I'm taking the time to explain this. So I hope I'm not being confusing. But there are literally other signs. Let's take Venus, or let's even Mars, where if it touches another person's South Node, it makes the person comfortable with being in the South Node energy. So there's heavy attraction there. There is wanting, desire, living life, all that. But there is also a stagnation that presents itself to where the South Node can't really truly be happy being in that spot. And it remaining the same with that sign and those individuals. Lilith can literally be in this, like remain there with the South Node and have the South Node step out of his comfort zone. Through just by way of the way Lilith, because just by way of Lilith, whatever sign is in, it's really pushing to break free from it, to break free from that energy, from that. It's really operating to act different from the sign, the energy that it's in, or either evolve it some type of way. And you can say whether it's good or bad. That's a whole, that doesn't even matter at this point. Now, the South Node person could find this very intriguing, could find Lilith very intriguing and enticing because of this. And feel alive. The South Node person can feel alive when it comes to Lilith. But it can also want to, depending on where they're at in their life and what they're willing to accept, it can also want to withhold itself from Lilith too. So you'll get, Lilith can find that they go through these, I want to say emotional roller coasters, but no, not necessarily, but they could go through these ups and downs or back and forths with the South Node person, because it'll be like when they get together, Lilith could feel her seen supported by South Node. Like, oh my gosh, like the South Node person really understands me, because like at the core of our existence, and where we found like where our stable part of ourselves, where we feel comfortable, where we're living life, South Node can meet me there, can enjoy life with me. But at the same time, Lilith could feel like South Node being engaged and then pulling away. Engaged and pulling away. So Lilith starts to feel that, okay, yeah, South Node, you only want to deal with me in certain times. You only want to deal with me like when we're being passionate, or you only want to deal with me when, you know, like behind the scenes, or you only want my behavior to show. Like, let's say they're married or something. Okay. They could be, South Node could appear like, okay, yeah, well, I'm fine. But like could appear like, oh, like I love Lilith. Yeah, they're engaging and interacting. South Node is like, oh yeah, I love Lilith when you're like this and you're this and that and you're passionate, and then y'all getting along. But then like around certain people or out in public or in other spaces, South Node is seen. Lilith could feel like the South Node person is not accepting of them. You see what I'm saying? Even though they're in these two are in the same sign. So Lilith starts to second guess the relationship that they have with the South Node. And then South Node is just like, man, what are you talking about? Like Lilith, come on. Like, so you really think that we're going to be out in public and like just letting go, letting free, like hugging and kissing on each other? That this could show up. That these two could very well do this. But I'm just saying, the South Node individual could be like, yeah, you think that we're gonna be doing that in public? Like, there's a time and place for everything. And Lilith was like, well, why not? We love each other. And these two very well can demonstrate wild traits of themselves too, like around or amongst other people. And South Node could actually remain with Lilith, because even though it needs to be going towards its North Node energy and not remaining comfortable in the South Node energy, depending on Lilith's you know, how the Lilith person is operating. Like, is Lilith rebelling against their Lilith energy and like embracing it, involving it, or are they suppressing themselves from it? Because if Lilith is suppressing themselves from it, it shows off as some sort of stagnation for both of them. Like, you know, South Node person is, you know, comfortable. It's like them just both been in their comfort zone and not really taking the heights of their experiences to the next level. You get what I'm saying? It could be just like, so, you know, it could be lackluster sometimes. It could be like they're not really getting along because one person wants to grow, or one person wants to be themselves, or do, you know, live life how they want, or go to the next level, or whatever. And then the other person could be seeming judgmental or turned off from it. Like, okay, I don't really want to listen to this right now. What are you talking about? So, but when things are good, and this, guys, like I could literally sit here and talk for an hour straight because of like this specific dynamic alone. Just by Lilith conjuncting the South Node, I can talk for another good 30 minutes, but I'm not going to do that. You know what I'm saying? The point of the matter is that these two, it could be, you know, a pretty fun, interesting, like I said, South Node could be intrigued by Lilith, but Lilith could feel like, oh my gosh, like I could be, like, let's say the Lilith is the woman in the relationship. Lilith is like, man, I could, like, South Node takes care of me. Like, I feel good being myself. Like, I could be like my, you know, freaky self. I could be like my expressive self. So let's say Lilith is like, you know, like to spaz out sometimes. The South Node person could be like, oh yeah, like, wait, like, what's the problem? Like, really show some sort of interest, you know, or like, or not be afraid of it, you know. And you know, so this, and then let's say I think that it could present a whole other issue though if the man is Lilith in the situation. It could present itself differently because and it don't have to be a bad thing, but what happens is the male, and this could be the woman too. I don't want to make it one-sided, but I'm just saying a lot of times men tend to try to suppress their Lilith energy, and they could try to live it vicariously through the other person. So this is where they would make that connection at, because he could be like, man, like this is the South Node is the woman. Then the man could be like, man, this is the type of woman I like, you know what I mean? Like at your core, you just like sexy, like a turn on with the way that you just, because the Lilith energy for the man is being projected through the woman, you see, without him really having to do anything. But the problem is, if he feels like, because it kind of triggers the man to tap into that dark feminine side of himself as well, just by caveat, I feel. And sometimes, depending on how that plays out, the man being a Lilith could feel like even though this is not happening, but a man could feel like emasculated, like, or tapping too much in the feminine. It's like, I don't like the way it feels, because they could feel insecure about doing that. And they could just like, kind of like shun off the South Node sometimes. And if being the woman, the South Node person can be like, man, like, I don't feel comfortable. Either way, Lilith here is Lilith is pushing the South Node to go into the North Node energy, if I should put it this way. And yes, they're attracted to each other, but Lilith sometimes wants to come out, because Lilith being a man could be sometimes being like, hey, you know what I'm saying, like put on a little lingerie, or like, why don't we do something fun? And the South Node person could be like, I'm not trying to, but in order for them to sustain a relationship, something has to change. Like the South Node person would have to make some sort of change, because that's what they're doing either way. They need to do either way. But anyways, this is South Node conjunct Lilith Synastry. I'm Butterflies of Light. Please come back, subscribe to the channel, because I will be back. Ew.